Hey, welcome back to another episode of Revealed Apologetics. I'm your host, Eli Ayala, and today I have with me a very special guest, a gentleman by the name of God Logic. If you have not heard of God Logic, then you need to crawl out of the rock that you have been hiding under. This gentleman, this young man, he's youngish. We'll find out how old he is in just a moment, so then I can make myself feel old. This young man has been doing some excellent work in apologetics and evangelism to Muslims. And he has been doing a great job instructing the body of Christ while doing it. So I'm super excited to introduce him, or at least give him an opportunity to tell us a little bit more about himself. Now, for myself, I just got back from the War of the Worldview conference, where I was speaking alongside Dr. James White and Dr. Jason Lyle and Dr. Marcus Ross, who's a paleontologist who I've never met before. But after this past weekend, I've had a great pleasure of spending time with those gentlemen. It was a lot of fun. The conference went well. We had a good turnout, and we just had a great time. And so that conference is out of the way. And then October, I'll be driving up to Pennsylvania, where myself and Jeff Durbin will be the keynote speakers at a conference entitled No Other Name, I think it's called. And so I'll give you guys more details on that. So a lot of things going on. And Avery, I'm not sure if Avery knows this, but Avery and I will be at the same event in February. So if I looked at the thumbnail correctly, I think you are doing a debate in February. Who are you debating?
A Muslim that goes by the name of the Muslim metaphysician. His real name is Jake.
Yes, Jake. Okay, I'm familiar with him. Yes. And I will be debating the atheist Dan Barker. So it should be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to meeting you face to face. That's kind of the cool thing about doing this kind of stuff.
Same.
Yeah.
Wait, what time is your debate?
I think mine's one of the first ones. It's on day one, so it's maybe the second or third debate on the first day.
Okay, you might got one of them early ones, huh?
Yeah. Probably when everyone's still sleeping, there'll probably be three people in the audience, you know?
Goodness gracious. Marlon messed up for putting debates way at 6 a.m. You know,
all right. We all know that God doesn't wake up until 8. So like
exactly.
Relax, people. That was a heresy. It was a joke. I don't believe God sleeps. All right. So without further ado, why don't you tell folks a little bit more about yourself, and you can promote your channel, anything you got pamphlets, God Logic stickers, or whatever you want to advertise. This is the time to let people know who you are.
Sure, yeah. So first I want to say, man, it's awesome to be here. It's nice to meet you. I love connecting with other Christian platforms, man, that's doing their work. And we got Marlon in the house already. He said, yo, what's up, Marlon? Gospel Truth in the building. But yeah, guys, so my name is Avery. I run a God Logic Apologetics. We got two channels. You got the main channel, which is God Logic Apologetics, and then we have God Logic 2.0, where we post more so like just little clips of the live streams, little clips of maybe some IRL footage of me going out, but do a lot of street preaching, do a lot of street evangelism, mainly towards Islam, but I also love dealing with Jehovah's Witnesses. I love talking with Mormons. Hebrew Israelites has got my attention now. And so recently we just came from New York, where we had a whole little function and where we met up with some Hebrew Israelites, a couple of camps, and we had a couple of head up debates. It was fun. It was really fun. So if you guys want to look at that, check out my channel in regards to that. But yeah, just been doing this, been on YouTube for we're going on 4 years. Next February will be our 4th year in online ministry, and so God's been really good, man. It's been really good to us.
That's awesome. I think if I were a Muslim and I saw you walking past my booth, I could tell. See, so everyone who watches your channel, they know you got the little chef hat going on. You about to do some. he actually has a black belt in culinary arts. He cooks Muslims and other heretical groups.
Oh man,
but, you guys you're smooth, man. I see you walking. Hey, what's this? Can I take one of these little pamphlets? I'm like, oh no, he's laying the trap. He doesn't want the pamphlet. He's looking for an open door.
Eli, that is one thing that is good, is that I'm very unassuming, like you're not gonna think that this guy walking up, you're not gonna think nothing of it, so yeah, it's I don't look like a theologian, I don't look like I'm some scholar or nothing, which I'm not any of those. It's just but you should have seen, like when I walked by a dollar table, this is before like the channel kind of took off,
Sure.
they flocked to me, man. Do
Mm.
you know about Islam? Do you know about Islam? Are you a Christian? Now I can hardly get a conversation out of these guys, man. It's tough.
I've seen some people. We're not here to debate. We don't want to
Yeah,
debate.
we don't want to
All of a
debate. We're
sudden,
not to debate.
yeah.
We believe what we believe. You believe what you believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to know a little bit more about God Logic, the man behind the channel. Don't worry, we won't get any personal information, but I want to know a little bit about your background. So, what I enjoy, some of the books that I like to read are things about the lives of theologians or great thinkers and things like that. And granted, you and I, we're not like professional theologians, with PhDs or whatever. But I am interested in people's background in terms of like how they get into the things that they do. So why don't you kind of unpack that for a little bit what got you into apologetics and why apologetics to Islam?
Yeah. So long story short, I grew up going to church. My dad is a pastor. I grew up, everybody was in church, involved in church, preachers, singers, all that kind of stuff, and so I was heavily involved in my church, like around, about 18 to 21. That's when I really was like really involved with my church, teaching young adult groups, stuff like that. So, I'm about 20 years old. I want to say maybe 19, 20 years old, running, Sunday schools and young adult services, thinking that I know something. I'm on my college campus one day and I see a Jehovah's Witness stand, and they over there sitting, and they showed up every Thursday. So I said one day, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go talk to them. I'm gonna go see what they talking about, man. I always heard bad things about them, but I never spoke to them myself. So I went over there to talk to them. And I just was asking some questions, and they said some things like Jesus is not God. I'm like, wait, what? Jesus ain't God? What do you mean Jesus ain't God? It was like, yeah, no, he's the Son of God. I was like, yeah, but he's God. He shares the same nature as God, right? And so I'm like, do you guys believe that he's created? And he's like, yeah, of course. I said, you have a Bible verse that shows that? And he was like, yeah. And he brought up Colossians 1:15, the firstborn of all creation, right? So at this time, I have no experience of interfaith dialogue. I have no experience of looking at the Bible in a way that I've been challenged and defending it. I never looked at it that way before. We just read it and absorbed it. That's it. But I never looked to defend it. So I didn't have the instinct to read the verse after or before. I didn't have context in mind. So that verse shot me. I was like, whoa, hold on a second. I didn't know what to do with that. And he told me, man, you got to do your homework, do some research, but the Bible's clear. I didn't have a comeback. And so after that, I knew that was wrong. I'm like, no, hold on a second. There's a bunch of verses that say Jesus is God. So I called my dad. Dad, ain't there verses that say Jesus is God? He's like, yeah, man, John 1:1. John 10:30, the usual.
Sure.
So I'm like, yeah, no, okay, there we go. And so I'm like, okay, so then what about this? What about Colossians 1:15? And I looked up some stuff, and I ran into Living Waters by Ray Comfort in them. Yeah. That's where I first saw like evangelism and apologetics mixed into that as well.
Sure.
And interfaith dialogue, they had a whole series on Jehovah's Witnesses and answering them. And so I watched every single video that they put out, all their interactions, all their teachings. I watched that all within like a day or two span. And then I couldn't wait I couldn't wait till next.
You just sat there clicking through each video and watched every single one.
I literally was there, had a playlist. So my school was about 35, 40 minutes away from my house. So I just put it on in the car and I'm listening. I get home, I put it on, I'm taking notes. I'm rewatching the videos that I listened to. I'm taking all the notes, looking at the Bible and arming myself. I was looking forward to next Thursday because they come every Thursday. So they came, I went to them, but the same guy that got me, he wasn't there, And so I never saw him again, but I wanted to see him. I wanted to see him again,
Mm.
but I never got to see him again. So he's always
Oh,
like in my
okay.
mind to this day,
So every
but
time you talk to Jehovah's Witness, whether it's a man or woman, it's got the guy's face on it.
it's his face. It's his
That's
face. Nice guy too, man. Just put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Do your homework, man."
That's awesome.
So, but how I felt in that moment, Eli, I felt horrible. I felt like my back hairs were standing up. I felt horrible because I'm like, it was a news flash. I don't know anything. And if I don't know anything, then my peers who I work with and we do ministry with, we don't know nothing. Like they would be able to destroy us if they wanted to, if we talk to them. And that means that most average Christians don't know anything. They won't be able to defend their Bible right? So I wanted to equip myself and learn how to defend the scriptures and present it to anyone and be ready to give an answer, and to also equip believers to also be ready and to be confident in the Bible, be confident in the faith with whoever you're talking to. That's what the mission goal was, and that's how God Logic was born.
Yeah.
So that's
awesome. I think that I see the influence of something like a Living Waters because you're very conversational. For me, I'm into presuppositional apologetics and Christian philosophy and stuff like that. And so, I'll read like, philosophical texts and things like this. I want to talk about this book with you. You might find this interesting, Trinity, but I tend to adopt the philosophical language. And so I find it difficult bridging the gap between the language I learn when I'm reading and when I'm talking to an average person. But you have the depth of theology, the other position, and you're able to communicate it in like a conversational form. I wonder if that's something you adopted through just listening to evangelistic encounters as opposed to academic lectures.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Definitely, because Living Waters was like, that was my beginning. And so I got Ray Comfort's books. I got, I got their little DVD, how to, videos and movies and whatnot. So yeah, I would say that I was heavily, I just loved how they approached people and had conversation with them. Right. Like, and Ray was so friendly with the person and was able to get standoffish people to talk because he was friendly and he was able to converse.
He got that accent too,
and
right?
the accent make you trust him. That accent make you trust him.
Hilarious.
Yeah, but no, so watching him, and then next, try to guess who was next for me, who I started to watch next.
So first you started with Ray Comfort, and then did you start focusing on Islam after that, or give me a clue? Okay.
My next influence.
Let me guess. Is it David Wood?
Nope.
No. Oh man, okay.
It's funny because you know this guy very well too.
James White.
Nope.
Okay. Matt Slick. Jeff Durbin. Okay. Jeff Durbin. Wow. Okay. So because you got the evangelism videos.
Yes. Jeff Durbin was next. I saw his videos. And at the same time, James White's videos was like right there popping up too. So it was Jeff Durbin, and then James White was like right there in the mix because
lectures or debates.
Yes.
Which ones did you focus on more? The James White lectures or James White debates or both? Debates. Okay.
Yeah, I focused on his debates more. I watched his lectures, but that was kind of later. But mostly his debates is what I watched because I liked how he debated. And I liked hearing the responses of the opponents and how James White was a beast, man.
Listen, I just spent the weekend with him. At the end of the conference, he had a dialogue debate. It's a dialogue with a progressive Christian, and I've never seen it in person. I was right there in the front row. I had this was in a church, but we rented it out. I had a big Philly cheesesteak sandwich. I'm like, I was like in the front row with a Philly cheesesteak. I'm like, and I got to see the master at work, to see him grill this guy. It was a massacre. But he is a very skilled debater. And Jeff Durbin, apart from his evangelism videos, he's a great debater in his own right as well.
Yeah. That's so a lot of my style. I loved how Jeff Durbin, his calmness. Jeff Durbin had a calmness to him whenever he would speak in conversation style still.
Yeah.
but with a calmness, even with like antagonic
Antagonistic. Yeah.
thank you, people, where they just
I teach middle school, so I have to articulate. So.
But they had a
I got
lot
you,
of
bro. Don't worry about it.
animosity.
We'll edit that part out of the video.
Yeah, we gotta edit that out. But Jeff Durbin had the same attitude from the start of the conversation to the end of his conversation. Still calm, still himself, like unapologetically himself. And I loved that about him. So I learned, I implemented a lot of that into, I'm like, if I want to do apologetics, I want it to look like that. I wanted to look like that if I'm talking with people like Ray, like Jeff. Then after that, because now that's me dealing with Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons. I'm running into Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons all the time, not Islam yet. Islam didn't come until like maybe 2 years later of my life.
Okay.
Now, why Islam is when I in studying the deity of Christ and the Bible and stuff, I saw videos of Zakir Naik. You know who Zakir Naik is?
Zakir Naik. I know Zakir Naik.
Yep. Zakir Naik, that's like their hero, and I would see he would have all these. I know he's terrible.
He's terrible.
He's absolutely that. It's funny. The new generation of Islam now, the new generation of Muslims, they say he's trash.
Yeah.
But you still got your Muslims that still hold on to him.
Was he the one that I heard bring up the Council of Nicaea as the teaching the deity of Christ, like it invented the deity of Christ, or was that someone else?
I'm not sure. It might be somebody else. I mean, Zakir Naik would say the same thing.
He would say that. Yeah. Oh, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I'm seeing this dude, Zakir Naik, stadium full of thousands of people, and he's just going off about the Bible and about the deity of Christ, quoting him, or trying to quote the verses all fast, and the crowd is clapping and cheering, and Jesus says the Father is greater than I. The Father is greater than I. There's no way he could be God. Yeah, that's alhamdulillah, right? Just with this boldness and this attitude. And I'm like, who is this? And who does he think he is? And then that's when I started seeing Sam Shimon and David Wood.
Okay.
And that's when I was like, yo, these dudes need to be shut up. Right. And then I'm seeing Sam and David already doing the work. And when I started seeing Sam and David, that's when my knowledge of the Bible and Islam, obviously, but the knowledge of my Bible, it increased dramatically, especially with Sam, how he broke stuff down and how he answers stuff. He cut them. Right. And what I learned from Sam was a specialist on how to turn the tables.
Yes.
Like every argument that the Muslim used against us, Sam would answer it and then flip the tables and say, you actually have this problem. We don't. And I just loved it. I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Now, okay, so a lot of people who want to get into this, and you talk about, and we've spoken about this briefly when we spoke on the phone, that you watch videos and things like that. How is your note-taking process when someone's like, I want to watch a video, but I want to dive into this? Like, what are you doing? Are you watching a video, putting it on pause, jotting down stuff? Like, does it take you forever? What does that look like for you so that someone who's watching says, you know what, I want to go deeper, more than simply watching videos? Like, how do I take my notes and organize this in a way that it really gets internalized? Can you unpack that? Even to the point of when you watch a video, do you watch a video 2 times, 5 times, something like that? How is the whole preparation and personal study for you?
Yeah, so I do it topically. If I'm trying to learn a subject in the Bible or Quran, it doesn't matter. Jehovah's Witness doesn't matter. Whatever I'm studying, I like to do it topically. So if I'm like studying the Bible, what does the Bible say about the deity of Christ? And I learn everything that it says about that, and I master that topic, and then I move forward.
Like through a book, like systematic theology, or like videos?
Videos, articles, or books. Okay. But it'll be articles and videos is mostly with me. Articles and videos.
Okay.
And so, really, like let's say if it's a 20-minute video, it's gonna be an hour when I'm done with it.
So you pause and write down stuff.
I'm writing down, I'm rewinding, hearing again, I'm pausing, looking up the source, looking up the Bible verse, reading that chapter, and then that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
So that's why it takes me so long with a video. But then when I do that, that stuff sticks. So then when I talk to someone about it, whether it's in conversation and like dialogue with a Muslim or whatever, or a friend that I'm like, hey man, look at what I learned, or look at this. Did you know this? You know, that helps whenever I share it or talk about it. It helps stick. So, but yeah, when it comes to the notes, I like to do things topically. I don't like to be all over the place. I like to do things topically. I like to focus and master a topic, and then you know, I'm
if
taking
you don't mind me interrupting, I apologize. How long do you usually spend on a topic? A week, a month?
It depends. No, it's not. It depends. You know, like I was doing I was preparing for my debate about Jesus being the most high God. And so I spent like a week learning that topic on the most high God. What does the Bible say about the most high God? What are those attributes or qualities to qualify to be the most high God? Jotting down those verses, the context, you know, looking at articles, videos, and, you know, calling a few people.
Right.
You know,
yeah, we're very similar. I do that too. So like, you know, we do like similar things on YouTube. You get a network of people, and every now and then you connect with someone and be like, I want to call this person. I take walks around my block at like night, because most of my friends that do apologetics are on the West Coast, so it's early for them, and I'll walk around 4 or 5 times having conversations with somebody. I need to bounce the ideas that I've been reading, or if a video I have to bounce it off somebody. And that's such a helpful way to prepare to engage an actual interlocutor. So
we're not alone. We got people for a reason, man. We got people that's in our corner that sharpen us for a reason, and I use them all. I use all my peoples, man. Sam, David, vocab. Like my debate with the Hebrew Israelite. We was in lunch right before that. I was at lunch with Vocab. There's a whole crowd of us, but I made sure me and Vocab sat next to each other. I sat right across from
Vocab. He is when I met Vocab, I was recording some lectures for Apologia. So they flew me out to Arizona, because I'm all the way out on the East Coast. And I connected with Vocab. He's like, oh, let's meet up. And so he gave me his address, and I drove to his house, and I thought he was just going to be like, hey, how's it going? Now, the guy comes out of his house with a headset on, debating a black Hebrew Israelite. Like, I had to wait till he was done to say, yo, what's up? Nice to meet you in person.
Yeah.
So he is always on, and he really knows his stuff, but he's such a chill guy too, if you're not talking about apologetics.
Yeah, Vocab is a cool dude, man. Yes. He's a cool dude, very loving, humble.
Yep.
You know, like it's amazing. Like Hebrew is like, it was a great experience in New York. He's the master when it comes to Hebrew Israelism.
Yes.
Right. And he didn't take any moment to try to, you know, put himself in the front light or nothing. Like, he was just happy. He was happy to be there and to watch the gospel be used. He was happy to help me and teach me, and then watch the plan get executed. You know, it was such a blessing having him there, man. And just being around guys like that who I look up to, man. It's a blessing. It truly is, man.
That's awesome. Well, I want to let folks know, if you are new to Revealed Apologetics, make sure you subscribe, click the notification bell, all that stuff that us YouTubers have to say. And happy that you're here if it's your first time here. Just want to say thanks to Michael Rogers for the super chat. He says the Islamic dilemma is, and I want to talk about that in just a moment, but the Islamic dilemma is a perfect example of the necessary transcendence of the laws of logic on full display. I'm not sure what that means, but thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. If you have a question would you like me to just call you God Logic? Do you usually not share your name?
Me Avery. Like God Logic is the name of the ministry. So
all right, I didn't know if it was cloaking your real name to protect your identity. You know, like Spider-Man or something. Okay, so if you have a question for Avery, your question won't get through unless you preface your question with question, because I think you broke my channel, Avery. I don't think I've ever had this many. I'm like looking up at the number. I was like, what the heck? I just advertised this today. There's 133 people watching right now. Probably the most I've ever had. So thank you. I appreciate that, man. We'll be collecting offering at the end of the. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right, y'all. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. And we grew up in a Spanish church. I was in church all the time, just like you, but in a Hispanic church. And I don't know how long your services were. We had service Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Service in the morning on Sunday, service in the evening, and those services were like 3 hours long.
Yep.
Same thing.
We had a more early morning service. That was and a 11 a.m. service. That was the longer one. The 8 a.m. was about like an hour and a half. The 11 a.m. was like 3 hours long.
Okay.
And then there was a 6 p.m.
How was the music?
The music was good. We was jamming in there.
Same thing with Puerto
Hey,
Rico.
we had it going on in there, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like we wasn't those churches that, like, you know, it's like the band ain't it. You know, this band, they know they was nice.
That's hilarious. It's the
And
same thing, man. Did you go to those churches like slap your neighbor, tell them to get ready?
Oh,
like
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's where I come from, man. That's where I come from.
Oh, that is so awesome. All right, very cool. Well, let's. What was that?
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So with presuppositional apologetics, right?
Oh,
so
jumping right in. Dang, bro. I was like,
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So it's basically the concept that basically, for example, an atheist says that there is evil, but they cannot justify why there's evil, right? It's like they're living out, or they're using things or making claims against God or stealing from God to make a case against him in a way, right? Like,
I mean, that's not what presuppositional apologetics is, but that's an aspect of presuppositional apologetics. I would say that the aspect of presuppositionalism that reflects is what we call the internal critique. And this is very much what you do when you talk to Muslims. So the internal critique of the unbeliever's worldview is an aspect of the presuppositional approach. But I wouldn't define the presuppositional approach as that.
Okay, cool. So then how would you define it then?
Yeah, so I would define, and I like to define it in biblical categories because I do think it is a biblical methodology, the principles that undergird it. I would say that presuppositional apologetics is the attempt to bring every thought captive, even to the obedience of Christ, even the thoughts of the unbeliever. So I stand on the authority of God and his word. I don't move from there. That's my bias. Nobody's neutral. The unbeliever has his bias. He's not neutral. And so if the unbeliever wants to have a worldview without God, then I ask him to pay the bills on every claim he makes. So if he appeals to logic, how do you have logic without God? If he appeals to reason, how do you have reason without God? And I do that while standing on the authority of God's word. I don't try to work my way up to the existence of the Christian God. My approach is different than like the evidential and classical approaches, which I call bottom-up approaches. You work your way up to God most likely exists, or he is the most reasonable position. My approach is a top-down. I start with God and his word, and I argue indirectly that if you don't start with God and his revelation, you don't have a foundation for anything: philosophy, history, reason, mathematics, anything whatsoever, because in Christ are hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. And I don't just quote that verse. I try to demonstrate that that's the case. Given the presuppositions of the Christian worldview, I can make sense out of all those things. Non-Christian worldviews can't. And that's the claim.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you for explaining that. I want to run something across you, but I don't want to jump ahead of what maybe you have planned yet. So I'll wait.
I mean, if you want to get your question out of the way, so then we could jump into the Islam questions and things like that. I mean, I don't mind, because if
it goes with the Islam questions. I
good. Yeah, good. Go for it.
Okay. So, so how would you categorize, like, okay, I'm gonna just present something to you. So, you know, Muslims, they like to say that the Bible's corrupted and we can't trust it, and the Quran's the only thing, right, that they need and stuff like that. Right. However, they say things and make claims about Jesus or about the prophets that they cannot make without the Bible. And so something as simple as, like, for example, they say Jesus spoke Aramaic, right? And I will ask, how do you know that? Where do you get that from?
See, what you're saying right there is very presuppositional.
Okay. Yeah, I thought so.
Because you are asking a question that, and I love that. This is what I love about you when you interact with people. You are forcing your opponent to answer in such a way that exposes that he's actually stealing from your foundation.
Exactly.
That is the beauty of how, and you ask it. I mean, I'm more philosophical. Oh, the necessary preconditions of blah, 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 blah. Where did you get that from? And that forces him. Well, it says it in the Bible. It's like, and the same Bible that's corrupted, that doesn't make any sense. So you're doing in logic what's called the reductio. You're doing a reductio ad absurdum. You're reducing his position to absurdity, showing that even to get his objection off the ground, he has to actually rely on your position.
Yeah.
So that's very presuppositional-ish, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Like, I was like, I I use presuppositional tactics against
Yes.
Muslims.
Yes.
I do it all the time. At least I thought I did, and you just confirmed it.
Right.
So yeah.
Now there's a difference between using presuppositional tactics and using presuppositionalism as a methodology. So
Okay.
what I would say is that if you are not a presuppositional apologist, you can still use presuppositional tactics, but that's not the same as using the method. The method itself is based upon the impossibility, both biblically, it's inappropriate to assume these things, and philosophically, it's incoherent to assume these things. We point out that nothing is neutral. So there is no fact that is self-evident, independent of one's presupposition. So even when the unbeliever says, I don't know if God exists, that is actually an implicit claim that Christianity is false, because the God of Christianity says he does have a knowledge of God and that he's suppressing the truth and unrighteousness. So the agnostic has no place to hide in a neutral category.
Right.
And autonomy, a man's reasoning capacities is not self-sufficient in and of itself. So I do not present arguments and facts as though they are quote unquote self-evident and neutral. Every fact belongs to Christ, and I argue that unless you see it in light of Christ, right? In his light we see light, then you can't make sense out of anything. And one of the ways you demonstrate that is through using those tactics that you use, is asking those questions to expose you're actually presupposing something that's inconsistent with your own view. That's the internal critique.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Cool.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I love this, man, because I'm telling you, I'm a sponge, man. So
that's awesome. And you've been an inspiration to me in a lot of ways, because I love your regular man approach. I mean, I watch all these scholars, and people know I love Greg Bonson. Most of the stuff that I've learned, I learned from the Christian philosopher Greg Bonson, and I adopt that language. But I teach middle school students, so I have to take all that stuff and boil it down and bridge it. And people like you and others as well are really good at just saying it the way the normal man would understand it, and still it has the effectiveness of the scholar. Like the scholar proves something in his literature, you take that and you demonstrate in a practical way how to do that in conversation. And I think that's just been a priceless lesson that I've learned from you and others. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait. I'm so happy you connected with me, man. Yeah, I can't wait to learn more of this, of presuppositional. I want to have everything. I want to have.
That's so cool. That's so encouraging, because I was just going over this with my students. You talk about God logic, right? Like if logic requires God, which is part of how we argue too, right? God is the necessary precondition for logic, we would say. Yeah. If that's true, this is the power of it. Then every argument against the existence of God requires him.
Yeah.
That's what we call the transcendental argument. And it is powerful when you're able to kind of communicate it in a easy to understand way. And maybe you can people say that Van Til was like kind of considered the father of presuppositional apologetics, and you don't need to know who that is. But if you do, Greg Bonson was seen as the interpreter of Van Til. He made it a little bit more accessible. And then folks have described me as the person who makes Bonson accessible. So maybe you could be the person that makes me accessible. It's just a chain. It's just a chain.
Well, I'm with it, man. Teach me your ways.
That's awesome. Well, if you want to connect at another time, we can totally connect, maybe over the phone or whatever. Anytime something pops in your head, you'd be like, yo, let's talk about this. Yeah. I would love to learn from you. And if there's anything that I can teach you, I would love to give to you. So 100%. We on the same team, bro. We team Jesus. So, all right. So there is a question from the audience. And then after that, we're going to refute Islam. That's the name. That's the name of the
out of the stream, right?
That's right. That's right. So let's see. Our first question here is all scripture matters. Question for Avery. Have you been challenged by Muslims with the Exodus 6:2-3 statement, and then they show God's name referenced by Abraham? How do you respond? Do you need me to turn to that passage for you real quick, or
we can for the audience? It's when God says he hasn't revealed this name to.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's just read it real quick so that people don't think we just run through things. So Exodus chapter 6, and that is verses 2-3. It says, God spoke to Moses and said to him, I am the Lord. I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as God Almighty, but by my name, the Lord, I did not make myself known to them. And that's verse 3. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. So there's a couple of ways to address this. The first way is understanding that this is Moses who is writing this, and Moses is the one who writes the story of Abraham. And so since Moses knows God as Yahweh, all he's doing is plugging in Yahweh or God, God's name, where God is and speaking and where Abraham is interacting with him. And so just going back, because Moses is the author of Genesis and the author and is writing Abraham's story, he's just plugging in Yahweh's name, not necessarily that's what God revealed to Abraham necessarily at that point in time. So that's one way to look at it. Okay. Another way to look at it is it's not necessarily about calling God the name Yahweh, that he's saying that this is what you haven't recognized me as, but it's the way that he reveals himself to Moses that is different from how he dealt with anybody before. And so with how he revealed himself to Moses, coming in the bush, revealing himself throughout the Exodus and the signs that he did to show his glory the way that he did to bring out Israel from Exodus, he did not show himself like this before to the prior patriarchs. He did not do that before. So this is a new way that he has revealed himself in a way that he hasn't done with Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob necessarily. So that's another way of looking at it. But the simple way is, Moses, he's just recounting the story of Abraham. He knows God as Yahweh, so he's going to plug in, Yahweh's name. Similar to how, like in when you talk about, Joseph's time, Pharaoh was identified as the king of Egypt, not really Pharaoh. Pharaoh wasn't what the Pharaoh was called at the time. He was the king of Egypt. But in Moses' time, he was known as the Pharaoh. So in speaking with the people and communicating with the people, he's going to call him Pharaoh, even when he's recounting Joseph's story. So it's similar to like that. I hope that makes sense.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Very good. Let's see here. Someone asked, what does Avery think the most underrated or overlooked verse is for the deity of Christ? I actually really appreciate this question because a lot of like cults or Muslims or whoever, they will preempt Christian objections or Christian responses. So it's good to have kind of like a verse in your back pocket that most people won't expect. So for example, my friend Matt Slick of carm.org, you're familiar with Matt Slick? Yeah. So he does a lot of work with Jehovah's Witness, and he used, I think it was Amos chapter 4, 9 through 11, I think, where God is speaking and he says, I will do such and such just as God did such and such. And he would have the Jehovah's Witness read it. And without even saying anything, the Jehovah's Witness will say, what are you trying to show the Trinity from this? And he goes, you got the Trinity from that? And it's just like, they don't expect it. And the Amos passage, most people don't use that. So in your opinion, what is an underrated, overlooked deity of Christ passage that a Christian can put in their back pocket that might take the person by surprise?
Yeah. So I would say there's a passage or the passage in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. If we go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, there's a nice little nugget in there that explicitly identifies Jesus, not just simply as being God, but being Yahweh himself. So like, because Jehovah's Witnesses, they like to play with that term God, nah, he's Yahweh, he's Jehovah. And this is what shows you how. So if we go to 1 Corinthians 10, and this isn't used a lot. I think it's actually starting to gain a little bit of popularity because we've been using it lately. But 1 Corinthians, 100. Of course you would ask that. 1 Corinthians 10, and this is what it says in verse 3. It says, and all talking about the wilderness journey. Okay. It says, and all ate the same spiritual food, and all drank the same spiritual drink, for they were drinking from a spiritual rock which followed them, and the rock was Christ. So this is saying that Christ was there sustaining Israel while they were in the wilderness, right? That he is the rock that was sustaining them. Now we could have fun with this because we go to Deuteronomy 32. The rock of Israel is Yahweh himself. He's the rock of Israel that sustains them. He's the rock of Israel. 2 Samuel chapter 23, verse 2 and 3. The rock of Israel, the God of Israel, Yahweh has spoken, right? However, it gets even better. Not only is he identified as the rock who followed them throughout the wilderness, but if we keep reading down to verse 9, watch what it says. This is the verse, guys. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 9. But you got to have the earlier verse that I just read too, coupled with this. Okay. Here's verse 9. It says, nor let us put Christ to the test as some of them did and were destroyed by serpents. Hold on a second, Eli. Do you recall a time where the Israelites put Christ to the test, and then they were destroyed by serpents? Like, when were the Israelites destroyed by serpents?
I believe that is in the book of Numbers, right?
That's in Numbers. Numbers, I think, what is it, 21, I think?
Something like that. But it doesn't mention Christ there in the Old Testament. You reading things into the Bible, bro.
It says Yahweh. It says Jehovah. It says they griped against Moses and Jehovah. And then Jehovah sent serpents among them, and the serpents destroyed them. So who is that? If you're looking in Numbers, who did they put to the test? Jehovah, Yahweh. When you read 1 Corinthians, who did they put to the test? It was Christ. And Paul is saying, let's not do that like they did back then.
Right, because look what happened to them. But what if someone says there's a textual variant there? Is there a textual variant there?
Yeah, so the text, and that's why the earlier verse is relevant. So the textual variant and now the earliest manuscript, it says Jesus. However, there is a variant that says Lord, the Lord. Let's not put the Lord to the test as some of them did and were destroyed by serpents. Here's the beautiful thing about this. One, the Lord in context is Christ, the one who's following them. If you read the context, is about Christ. Here's another layer to this. According to 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 6, who's the one Lord, Eli? There's one God, the Father, from whom are all things,
right? And
one Lord, Jesus Christ, through whom are all things,
right?
So when you're reading through 1 Corinthians, who's the Lord? It's Jesus Christ.
Jesus. Yes.
So regardless of if you go with the textual variant that says the Lord, it's talking about Jesus Christ, as we just saw who the Lord is a few chapters earlier.
So our point is proven regardless of which variant you go with.
Regardless of the variant you go with.
But the older variant is Jesus. So that plays in our favor as well. All right, very good. That's good.
So
all right, wow, that's a good one, man.
Yep, 1 Corinthians 10:9. You really want to do 1 Corinthians 10, really 3-9, and that's that. You got it, man.
Yeah, very good. So we're going to do one more question, and then I want to get into how to debate and refute Islam. So I want to know your mindset when you approach a Muslim. I know there's the gears are moving. I'm going to ask a couple of questions about that. And then how do you unpack a refutation? Because that's kind of, I want to make sure we cover that specifically, but that's a great question. 100. Here's another question. I think it's a good question. It's good to refute their errors. I agree. But are you giving them the biblical gospel as well? The perfect life of Jesus Christ, his death, burial, resurrection for the forgiveness of sins. How do you interweave the gospel into your interactions with Muslims?
It's kind of seamless, but what you have to do, and this is what I've always seen work when it comes to Islam and the Muslims that have accepted the gospel of Jesus Christ on my channel live, the first thing that happens is breaking down the wall of Islam. Other than that, they're not going to be able to receive the gospel. Their heart, it's bouncing off of a wall. Right. You know, and it's really it's crazy, and it's miraculous. It's exactly as the scripture says it, that it's it isn't by this unless by the Spirit of the Lord that you confess Jesus is your Lord by the Holy Spirit. Yep. They magically, once you break down the walls of Islam, show them that Islam is false, all of a sudden they can get the Trinity. The Trinity is not a problem. All of a sudden, Jesus dying for their sins is a beautiful story now. Instead of something that doesn't make sense to them. But it's like a light bulb that hits. So you break down Islam first, show them why Islam is untrustworthy, it's false, and in light of that, give them the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Amen. And why it's necessary that they need him. Yeah.
Excellent. And I love how you said that at the beginning, it's seamless. So if you're doing apologetics and Christ isn't at the center, you're doing it wrong. right?
I agree 100%.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Keith Moss, for your $20 super chat. He says, "Man, I love to see you two together. God is using the both of you in amazing ways. I'm blessed by you both. Soli Deo Gloria." Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and hopefully we can do some more stuff together, Avery.
Oh yeah, we could
Um,
for sure.
I
I'm
would
down.
definitely love to. Now let's break this down here. So you are walking in the street, or you are going out to do evangelism or whatever. What is your mindset right before you jump into a debate? Two things. What is your mindset in terms of what you want to say? And secondly, do you get nervous? Because that's a big thing. That's a big thing for people. Like, I see a Muslim, but like, I know what I want to say, but like, I don't know what to do. How do you navigate that?
All right. Well, I'll start backwards. Do I get nervous? No, but
Gangster.
I get like a little anxious feeling. Like I get butterflies. Like so.
Okay.
I used to play basketball. I used to hoop, and so before a game, I would always get butterflies. You too? Yeah,
I'm a baller too. Yeah.
But yeah, so I would get butterflies, man. Right before as tip off, But as soon as tip off hits and I feel that ball, we going. All the butterflies is gone, the anxiousness is gone, and it's just you're letting the game come to you. So I don't get nervous, but I do get like a butterfly feeling, right before I approach a Dawa booth or hit the streets and start addressing people. Now, what's going on in my mind is it depends on what the environment is. So let's say I'm the one out there leading conversation, like it's not a Dawa table or nothing like that, but I'm out there drawing people in, right? Trying to get people to come and talk. Well, the first thing that's on my mind is if somebody does volunteer to speak and to engage in a conversation, is what is this person's foundation? So because I can spit the knowledge in the gospel or whatever that I think is relevant all I want, but if it's not relevant to them, it's not going to hit.
Bro, you are so that's so presuppositional of you, bro. I'm not even playing around. Like, I'm thinking like, okay, he probably doesn't care about this stuff. That sounds they go straight to the foundation. That's excellent.
Yeah. I love it, dude. I love presupposition. Doesn't Jeff Durbin, he uses that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I love it. I love that stuff. I think it's beautiful. So that I want to get to their foundation. What is it that what is their presupposition? What is their worldview? What are they holding to? And so that's what I build off of, And so even if it's a Muslim, let's say a Muslim steps up, I'm not coming off and saying, man, have you heard of Jesus? Or I'm not doing that. Okay. I'm saying, you're Muslim. Tell me why you're a Muslim. Why do you think Islam is true? What's your reason? What's your main? Give me like your main reason. Top 2 reasons why Islam is true. And based off their answers, because everybody's different. Somebody might say the Quran has been perfectly preserved. Another one might say, oh well, I was born into Islam. So that's very different from a person who has these other reasons why they believe. So you want to get to know what their foundation is. And then you build off of that. So that's my mindset on leading into a conversation.
Okay, so go for the foundations. Yep. So you don't get nervous, but you get the butterflies.
I get the butterflies.
Does the butterflies come because you're trying to grapple with how am I going to start this conversation without being weird? Like what's the source of your butterfly? Because that sounds silly, but like that's a big problem for a lot of people. Yeah,
no, it's real. It's real. It's real. No, so the butterflies more so come from excitement. I'm more excited and just ready to, and it is thinking, how's this person going to receive me? Like, am I going to be able to? Because I want it's kind of rare, but I want long lasting conversations. A lot of people they get emotional and then they run off. Even with my kind of demeanor, I have a very friendly demeanor, but I'm contrary to them, and so that they'll shut up and run off. So I want I want a long conversation, and I'm hoping that I can hook them and keep them. And so that's where I guess it comes from. Like, how am I going to reach this person? I don't know exactly how I'm going to reach this individual for them to stay. So I guess that's where that stuff comes from.
Yeah. All right, we're going to jump into now the refutation part. But before we do that, I want to share two questions here. One is a comment. Well, one's actually a question, or maybe a suggestion, and the other one's a question. And I like the second question I'm going to put up. Very practical. So thank you so much. Great. 80, I think, for your $10 super chat. I appreciate that. Avery, I've learned a lot of stuff from you. You should write a book to help others with these arguments. God bless. Would you ever think of writing a book, or is that not your cup of tea?
I mean, yes, I would. I'll probably have somebody do it for me, though. I'll probably have a scribe or something.
Yeah, scribe. Well, you know what you could do? You could transcribe what you're saying to Chat GPT, and it could just write your transcription with the right spelling. So your content, but you don't have to edit it. There you go.
Yeah,
you could do a pamphlet or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I can't type for my life, so
yeah, me either, man.
Yeah, me either.
But I definitely would love to like put out like a. We'll probably call it. We played with this earlier in the year, but it looks like people really want it.
Yeah,
but put out a cookbook. It'll be called a cookbook.
Ooh.
And
that's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's so good. And you could just be standing there with the
hat with the chef. Yeah.
And you got like the face, the headshots of each Muslim you debated in like a bowl or something.
Yep, so good.
That is hilarious.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Gonna call it the cookbook and go through like the most. Go through these arguments and how to refute them, how to turn the tables, all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
that's awesome. Very creative. This one is from Apologetics. She is a mom, and she tries to teach apologetics to her kids. So she's very much into like, she likes to watch all these videos, and she likes, videos like this. But then how do we transfer that over to teaching our children? Because just as you confront a Muslim on the street, your children in school can confront Muslims. And we all know the impact of that with the relationship between David Wood and Nabil Qureshi, right? In college and all that kind of stuff, when they hashed that all out. And I know David was a big influence on his conversion.
Yeah.
So the question is, if I'm refuting and teaching what does it say? If I'm refuting and teaching my children why it's false, Islam, what's a good way to go about that in a presuppositional way? I want you to answer that because you kind of do it that way anyway. How would you teach your kids to go for the foundation like you suggested before?
Yeah, it would be using what we call the Islamic dilemma. I feel like that it would be seeped in presuppositional tactics. So the Islamic dilemma, it just in short, the Quran says that the Bible is true. And so because the Bible is true, therefore the Quran would be false for contradicting the Bible. If the Bible's false, if it's corrupted and changed and distorted and false, then the Quran is also false for saying that a corrupted, changed book is true. So the foundation of Islam is the Bible. The foundation of the Quran is the Bible. And so them going against it shows that the Quran is false. I would say that would be a presuppositional tactic. I think that is. What do you think, Eli?
Yeah, I think that is. That's
sure.
Great. But there's a problem. There's a problem because this individual says Islam is growing and growing. Your arguments stay laughable and require only a quick research, while our arguments cause immense doubts and apostasy from your satanic man-god blood drinking. It's an interesting way to spell drinking religion. Now, I've listened to countless videos. Apparently, Muslims don't know how to do a quick research because apparently no one knows what the Injil is.
Hey, we've been looking for that for years, man.
We're still looking for it.
We're still looking for what
you ever see that show? I should do a clip of that show for them from Unsolved Mysteries. If you've seen the Injil, please call this number.
The cold case, man. Good grief.
How would you respond to this? I mean, again, on a serious note, someone, you have a Muslim saying this, if the arguments are so laughable, how would you respond to someone who's kind of using this approach to dismiss the kinds of arguments that you use?
I mean, what did he said in a very long way, ladies and gentlemen, what he said was, nuh-uh.
Yes.
Nuh-uh. That's all he did. Nuh-uh. Well, he didn't say anything of substance. He didn't bring anything. He just clowned us. That's all. Nuh-uh. Yeah. So until he says something of substance, then we'll have something worth responding to. But this isn't anything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's
true.
I
would say this: if you want us to do a little response, we can send him the link and he can come join us. We can have a discussion.
We could do that. You could actually email me at revealedapologetics@gmail.com. And if I'll keep my email open. If I see the link, I will invite you on. That'll be the first time ever. You'll be the first time. Well, maybe second time or whatever. I don't remember exactly how many people have had. I teach middle school. So sometimes my students watch these videos. So I have to be very careful of who I invite. You know, in the apologetics world, you got some nice people, you got some cray people. So, but you know, that's there's no one.
Hit his email, Mujahideen. Hit his email. Come join us. Come talk to us and show us how laughable the arguments are. Let's see.
Right.
You'll do some good dawah here today.
Okay. Let me do that real quick. I'm going to open up my email to see if anything pops up. So we'll keep that open. I got the email open, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, okay. So yeah, someone's asking, where are your mods? Yeah, I don't have a mod. I don't roll like that. I don't got people. You know what I'm saying? You know, when people say your people call my people, I ain't got people. All right. I do this. I work. I come and do this. I don't. There's some crazy stuff. You know, just ignore it. If I catch something, I'll just delete the comment, which I don't normally do. But there's a lot of comments here. I told you, man, God Logic broke my channel, man. I never. That's usually a couple of comments I gotta like navigate. Like I can't even
see them all.
It's like a yellow pages, right? We got so much going on. So I don't know. I kicked someone from the comments because they were being inappropriate. Hey, listen, if you're not a Christian and you disagree and share your objection. No need to troll or anything like that. Just, you know, say, hey, I think this is ridiculous because, and then you have people interact respectfully. I mean, that's one of the things I love about my channel specifically is the majority of the audience tend to be really, really respectful with a few exceptions, of course. Yeah. So, you know, if you're coming onto my channel, you're on this live stream, just try to be respectful. Disagree. Like, that's okay. You can be like, I hate these arguments. I don't like Christianity. But then just give your argument. There's no need to be inappropriate and things like that, right? We can hopefully have a mature interaction in the comments. So that's my modification. If it gets worse after that, then, you know, I guess I have to get a moderator, but nevertheless. So not real quick, but you could take your time. How do you completely and utterly refute Islam? I know you can do the Muslim dilemma, which you can go into more detail if you'd like.
Yeah.
With quotations if you think, but what are multiple approaches that you think completely and utterly decimate Islam?
I'm gonna tell you right now, man, because there are a lot of ways. The reason why I love the Islamic dilemma so much. I'm not really a chess player. I think I would be good at it though if I learned it. But I'm a Connect 4 player. You ever play Connect 4, Eli?
Yes.
You like Connect 4?
I do. Look, like Connect 4.
In Connect 4, I'm the type of player that I have a target that I want to get to. I have a way that I want to get my Connect 4. However, I know that there can be obstacles. And so I want many ways that I can get that same Connect 4. Many different ways, whether it's diagonal, straight up, corner diagonal, another corner diagonal, the other corner diagonal, straight across, whatever. I want many different ways to get to that same conclusion. The reason why I love the Islamic dilemma so much, man, is because you can do so many different things with it to get to the same. You can demolish Islam so many different ways with the base as the Islamic dilemma. This is why every single Christian should master the Islamic dilemma. You know the question, what's the Injil?
Yeah.
That's a subset of the Islamic dilemma.
Okay.
What's the Injil? What's the Injil? That's the Islamic dilemma. It's part of it. It's just another little way, a little fun way of us demolishing Islam and exposing it. You know, where do you get it from? The Jesus spoke Aramaic, all this kind of stuff. That's all in the Islamic dilemma because the Quran affirms all of this. You know, so the Islamic dilemma gives you. Let me give you an example. So you obviously you can go with the Quran is false because it says the Bible is true. It says the Bible is true. It's chapter 2, verse 41. It says, believe in what we have sent down, talking about the Quran, confirming that which is with you. So not scriptures that's in the past. There's Torah and Gospel and Psalms, the writings of the prophets that you have presently. The Quran is saying what you have is true. So because the Quran goes against that, the Quran's false. All right, you can go that route. Or you can go the route where they say, well, it's corrupted. Fine, it's corrupted. So therefore,
you're cooking, bro.
Allah is saying that corrupted books are true. Islam is false.
Right.
Via the Islamic dilemma. That's way number 2. Number 3, you have no foundation because you're saying that these books are corrupted. You're saying that all this stuff is lost. For example, we run a topic saying Islam is untrustworthy. Islam is untrustworthy. This is another subset of the Islamic dilemma. How do we go about this? We ask the question, would you trust a religion that has corrupted scripture? That's how we started off. They say no every time. Okay. Then we ask, all right, we wouldn't either. We would never trust a religion with corrupted scripture. That would be untrustworthy. They're like, yes, we agree. Okay, cool. The Torah, you believe it was revealed by Allah? Yes. So the Torah is Islamic scripture? Yes. What happened to it? Do we have it today? No, it got corrupted. Okay,
bro.
Nice. What about the Psalms? Was the Psalms revealed by Allah? Yes. Did it get corrupted? Yes. Okay, that's 2. What about the gospel? Same thing? Word from Allah? Yep. Got corrupted? Yes. What about the Quran? Nope. Quran's good. Okay, cool. So we got the Torah, Psalms, the gospel, and the Quran. 3 out of Allah's 4 scriptures got corrupted. So you follow a religion that has corrupted scripture. Islam is untrustworthy.
Dang, bro. I get the name now, God Logic. That's that's good. I see what you did there, bro.
But man, I'm telling you, all of this has to do, it's all the Islamic dilemma. These are all different ways to demolish Islam with one foundation, the Islamic dilemma. It's a cut to Islam.
Right.
You could do it in different ways, you know?
But the problem is that your arguments are laughable.
Right.
This person now is pretending there's nothing to respond to, and people are telling him, don't run. I was like, I thought it's easy. What the heck? By the way, all joking aside, if I did invite you on, whoever this individual is, you will be treated with utmost respect. If people know my channel, I treat people fairly, all that kind of stuff. But if you don't want to hop on, then be very careful when you just make drive-by comments. If you can't back up your comment, then, there you go. So, but go ahead. I interrupted you while you were saying something. Do you want to finish a thought there?
Oh yeah, I was just, so that's the number one way, because you're asking like, what are the many ways you could destroy Islam?
Yeah.
It's like just having that one foundation, you have many ways to destroy, just absolutely destroy Islam. There's no answer to this, but like that's if you're going with the logical, scriptural, theological route. You could also go with the character of Muhammad. These are, I would say, the character of Muhammad is usually it's like the most powerful when it comes to getting Muslims to think or whatever, because it hits at the heart. It's Muhammad's character, the morality within the Quran and Muhammad, and the preservation of the Quran. These 2 things like are the heartstrings of a Muslim. So when you show that Muhammad and the Quran are absolutely disgusting and immoral, allowing child marriage and sexual relations with kids and divorcing them, marrying or having sex with married women as long as they're your captives in war, you can still have them and sleep with them even though their husbands are alive. How Allah creates you to sin and will destroy you if you don't sin. How he's going to replace every Muslim with a Jew and a Christian on Judgment Day and say that's your rescue from hellfire. So these type of ways, these type of things, you can demonstrate the immorality. Muhammad's obviously sleeping with Aisha when she was 9 years old, 9-year-old little girl, still playing with dolls, indicating that she wasn't in puberty, because when you're playing with dolls, according to Islam, dolls and images, that's all forbidden, unless you are under the age of maturity.
Right.
But when Muhammad slept with Aisha, she still had her dolls with her, demonstrating that she wasn't mature when he slept with her. Disgusting stuff. So you demonstrate this stuff. This is another powerful way to destroy Islam. Right? You tug right at the heartstrings of the Muslim. And then I would say that lastly is the Quranic preservation. If you want to go into that, that's kind of a little bit more technical.
Right.
But it's effective. Anybody can know it. You guys watch my videos or David Wood's videos, Jai and DLC Reloaded. Go to these channels, guys. Okay. You want to learn these arguments? These channels are gold channels. I'm telling you. They break the stuff down very simply. Anybody can use this stuff. But what we show is we'll show the Muslim that there are different Arabic Qurans. We got different Qurans. And for a Muslim, they've been told all their life that there's only one Quran.
Only one Quran. Yeah.
There's only one Quran, perfectly preserved, right down to the letter. You know? And so when you show a Muslim, be good, Eli. Quit all that laughing, man. when you
can get me in trouble, man. People always see me as the nice guy. You can't be making me laugh. Because I was okay. So I saw you. I don't know if it was you with David Wood or it was a David Wood video when he does the voices, man. He does the impressions of
David Wood when he does Ali Dawa.
The Ali Dawa impression was a sick one, bro. He had me in stitches. I see. That's not my style, but he's one of those when you see him do it, you can't help but to. It's like he's got it down.
Even the Muslims laugh. You know,
it's too much.
But yeah, so you show them the different Qurans in use that we have different Arabic Qurans. They're not English translations, not different English versions. These are different Arabic Qurans with different words, different letters, textual variances, words missing, verses missing, you know, all kinds of stuff.
How do Muslims, when you say this and you show them, how do they typically respond?
So it's like they have these stages, Eli. Like, you know how what do they call it when you have
it's like a denial, the first you're in denial.
Yes,
exactly. I know, it's like little stages of denial.
They have these stages, you know. So it always starts off with there's only one Quran, there's not a single difference, right? Then you'll show them a difference. Then they'll say, oh, well, yeah, there's differences, but they mean the same thing. The meaning doesn't change. Then you show them that the meaning changes. But then they'll say, oh, okay, yeah, but there's different meanings, but they don't contradict. Then you show a meaning that contradicts. And then it's either straight up denial from there or, dang, I got to look into this. Yeah, you're right. I'm done with this. I can't say this. This is tough. So they have these stages every time, man, every time.
Wow, that's some good stuff, man. So we had, so there we go. Muha, I don't know how to say his name, stuck his chest out with confidence and said, "Nuh-uh." All right, still don't have an email message.
Yeah, he's not going to join.
No, it's all right. Okay. Here's a question here. Question to God Logic. If someone relies on Jesus and their works to save them, does this person go to heaven or hell? So folks know my position on this. I do hold to justification by faith alone as an essential to the gospel. I know some people don't and have their explanations, but feel free to answer however you'd like. And, I
don't think that if a person relied on what Jesus did and their works to save them, I don't think that person will go to hell because that's what they think. You know, they're not teaching that as a gospel. If they're not teaching that, like, oh, you gotta, do these different works in order to be saved, then I don't think that they're going against the gospel and as far as what they're proclaiming. But if within themselves they don't have the knowledge of what the gospel is and how it's really solely the work of Christ that saves us, and the good works then follow, but they think that their works also save them as well along with Jesus' works, I don't think that person will go to hell for that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. Let's see here. Let me see. Look what he says. There's no need to push this brain rot stream. Y'all not even given some knowledgeable debaters, but only money-making entertainers who consciously fight the truth. Yeah. That's the dude who made the comment. So when invited to respectful dialogue, we get the claim that we are in it for the money. Because you know how it is, bro.
In it for the money, man.
That's right. You know what I drive? I will tell people what I drive. I drive a what's the name of my van? It's a van, bro. It's a van. I drive a Hyundai Odyssey with the paint coming off the top. My wife, every time, because we work at the same school, you look at our van from the second floor, we're like, oh, our van is balding. We got bald spots on our van.
Your van is balding.
That's right. So we making that shmoney. That's what it's all about, my dude. Okay. So these
all for the clout and the money, man, for these vans, man. Shoot. But yeah, people like that, they're not even worth any type of attention anymore. We saw the cowardice. Eli, he'll be nice to you. I'll say it. The brother's a coward. The dude's a coward. You want to talk big in the chat. You won't come up invited to have a actual dialogue and respectful dialogue. And you wasn't man enough to do that. So
yeah. And I'm a nice guy. I moderated a debate, and even the guy that I agreed with, I turned off his sound when he was overstepping. So I don't play those games. Yeah. If people want to share their thoughts, I want to give people a fair squeeze, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one here. I don't know. I've just clicked it on because it said question. So let's see. Maybe it's a good question. Maybe it's not. What do you think of the Avery wannabes that also put the blue background in the Orthodox Muslim Dean and now Fawzi Dawa?
Fawzi Dawa did it too now? Stop playing. Stop playing. Hold on. I got to look at this really quick. I got to. Oh, my God.
Oh my goodness.
No way. No, they got to be trolling me at this point. They got to be trolling me.
So there are people who do they try to do like what you do, and do you
everything that I do. So the Orthodox Muslim Dean responds, and now Fawzi Dawa. I'm gonna share my screen so you can see what
I don't want to see I want to see this. See, I don't usually look at all this stuff. Let me see. Hold up. Okay.
Right here.
Oh yeah, that's so I have your headshot saved on my desktop because that's how I made the thumbnail, and you had the background. I noticed that. Okay.
Let me show you the other ones. So that's Fawzi Dawa. Let's go to Orthodox. Let's go to Orthodox Muslim. Look at it.
Everybody's Hey, they say imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
Greatest flattery, man.
It's called Dawa logic.
Dawa logic, baby.
Allah logic. That's too. Oh, you can't do Allah logic. You said that 5 times fast. You're speaking in tongues. I don't know if they believe in that. So
he recently changed it. His was also the same picture as mine, but he recently. It looks like he recently maybe did it today or something. He recently changed it to this now darker tone, bluish, I guess now. But he had the exact same color as I did, just like the other Dawa clowns. And so they hate on me so much, but they love me at the same. They do everything that I do. They do the same type of live streams I do. They title it the same way that I do. Everything that I do, they're trying to mimic and try, because I laid the groundwork for them, man. So I'm proud of my sons.
See, they rely on the Bible for the Quran. They rely on you for their YouTube channel. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, but I ain't mad at it, man.
So check this out. Okay, this is funny. So Andrew's saying Eli does great impersonations. So I do some impersonations of people. I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to embarrass myself. But someone said this, and this is hilarious. They said Avery is the Eddie Murphy of Christian apologetics. Can you do that?
I can't do Eddie Murphy, man. He's too good.
Okay.
But,
all right.
I thought that was funny. Having fun, man. I be having fun when I do this, man. I have too much fun.
That is good. That is good. All right. So I'm trying to find some last second questions. Then we'll wrap things up here. This has been great. You never know when you have a guest. I had a scholar, very, very prominent scholar, but he was very old. And I was excited to have him on. And just socially, it was awkward the whole time. I absolutely love when I talk to someone who we can feed off each other and it runs nice and smooth. It makes for good conversation and it's easy for folks to listen to as well.
It's a gym.
Yeah.
It's a gym. It makes it fun to watch it back,
Yes, that's true. That's true. Maybe people will go back and watch this 20 times.
They're going to go back and watch this for sure.
So here's a question. So he does have a question for you, the gentleman who was invited to come on. He says, is there forgiveness without the shedding of blood?
If he wants to ask questions, he has to come up. I'm not talking to this dude in the comments.
Okay. Oh, pew pew, shots fired. Okay. Stormtroopers. Okay.
All that talking. Come up. Hit his email. He'll hit his email. He'll send you the link in your email and come up and ask us the question.
revealedapologetics@gmail.com. You better hurry up because I don't go too long. We might go for another 5 minutes or something. But if you come on, we'll extend it. Okay. And I promise we'll let you share your thoughts first, and then we'll have a little moderated discussion, okay? But if that's not what you want to do, then okay, we're gonna have to skip through. Let's see here. Any more questions? I'm just looking for the word question. to see. Let's see here.
Yeah,
You have Muslim trolls. I have atheist trolls on my channel. Not a lot. They're usually really good, and I know the most of the atheists that do watch my channel. I really appreciate because they're nice, and you can get good conversations. And then you have people. I don't know. Maybe you get this that there's like cut and paste comments. So like someone will say something on my channel, but then I'll go to another channel and like they'll say that there's the same message, like the same comment.
Yep.
Like they have a collection of comments that they'll just paste and share.
They got them saved up, and they
know. Oh my goodness, that's cray. Okay, here's a question. This is from Akila Copeland. How often do you engage with Nation of Islam as opposed to fundamental Islam? Do you change your approach considering they operate differently?
I don't engage with them often, but when I do, now the approach is the same. The Islamic dilemma works whether you're from the Nation of Islam, whether you're a Sunni Muslim, Shia Muslim, Ahmadi Muslim, it doesn't matter. They follow the Quran. Nation of Islam Muslims, they follow the Quran. So the same thing works against them. Now, I won't quote, commentaries like Tafsir. I won't quote those sources for the Nation of Islam type of Muslims because they don't hold to them. But I treat them as if they're Quran only Muslims.
Okay. All right. Thank you to Reddy Harris for the super chat. Can a case be made that Muhammad could read but not Hebrew or Greek and was shown the Bible in the cave?
Not really. I mean, okay, so there is a hadith that where Muhammad was on his sick bed and he asked one of his companions to bring him a pen and a paper because he was going to write something. So you can make a case that maybe Muhammad actually could read and write. Yeah, but not a big strong one, but that and it's an authentic hadith too. So
okay. Yeah. All right. Another question here. What was the document that contains Jewish thought around the time of Jesus and which shows belief of unity and multiplicity? God bless you, Avery.
The Torah.
There we go. Boom. Talk about that's what thank you, person's name who I can't pronounce because I can't read Hebrew, but can you read Hebrew, Avery?
No, not at all.
No, okay. Have you checked out this book? If you're into presuppositional apologetics, but you're also into the Trinity, you might want to check this book out.
Okay, what is it?
This is The Trinity and the Vindication of Christian Paradox, an interpretation and refinement of the theological apologetic of Cornelius Van Til. And this book, I'm going to show you a picture here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but this book attempts to show why philosophically God must be 1 and 3 as opposed to 1 and 2. And he even goes through some charts explaining. I don't know if you can see that. It might be blurry.
I can't really see that. I could kind of see the graph though.
Yeah. My bad. But this book, just chapter 9 alone is worth the price of admission. I think it was the doctoral dissertation of Brant Bosterman, a gentleman that I've had on the show before. Presuppositionalist, but he focuses on the Trinity as the solution to the philosophical problem of the one and the many. Are you familiar with that? Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is really helpful because philosophically, okay, so if you go back to like the pre-Socratics, like the philosophies before philosophers
really quick before you get into it, what's the name of it again?
It's called The Trinity and the Vindication of Christian Paradox. It's a rough read. You got to like really dig in, but once you get it in, you kind of nail it down, especially chapter 9. It's really good.
Okay.
So one of the main debates throughout the history of philosophy, especially during the period of the pre-Socratics, was what is the fundamental nature of reality? Is reality fundamentally one thing, like a monism, or is it fundamentally a many thing? Okay, like there's reality is ultimately one or many. And so when philosophers said reality is an ultimate one, then their philosophy would produce a view in which distinctions are illusory. They're illusions. But if reality is an ultimate many, then there is no abstract unifier like logic to bring everything into a meaningful relationship. So these philosophers would vacillate between reality being ultimately one and ultimately many, which would actually impact their view of knowledge and whether things could be intelligible, so on and so forth. But this guy argues that and presuppositionalists have argued that actually reality at its base is both equally one and many, because that is the nature of God. The manyness of God is not derivative from his unity, and the unity of God is not derivative of his plurality, but rather unity and plurality is fundamentally basic, and all of reality finds its meaning and context in the triune God. That's why we see in reality categories of unity and plurality. I see many things, right? For example, there's you, there's me, there's two individual people, yet we are unified by the abstraction humanity. So you have many and one. What grounds that ultimately? It is the God who is himself one and many.
That's good.
So it's very, very fascinating.
Well, I just bought it, so I can't wait to get into it.
Are you a Kindle guy or a physical book guy?
I'm a physical. I gotta have it. I gotta have it.
I gotta have it. Everyone's different, bro. Like I like to download it because, like I said, I was like, I need to have the book in my hand.
Yeah, I gotta turn the page. I gotta feel it. You know, I gotta feel it, man.
I know what you're talking about. All right, let's see. Let's take like one or two more questions and then we'll wrap things up. I really appreciate you giving me all this time. This has been a lot of fun.
Man. Yeah, for sure. We're having a good time, man. So honestly, it kind of feels like this hour has gone by really fast.
It has gone by. Not for Muhammadin, whoever that gentleman was.
Mujahideen.
So someone said, you better do your impressions. So I always try to do the impression of William Lane Craig. You know William Lane Craig?
Yeah.
He always pronounces the H's in like what and why, right? He's like, there are no arguments for God. And he goes, well, why would you think that? I have at least 5 reasons to think. And then we'd go through the 5 reasons. So I always used to do impressions of those guys. Bruce Lee. I love Bruce Lee. I do Bruce Lee impressions. So I'm not gonna reduce my subscribers by doing bad impressions. But
you might gain some, man.
Maybe in the future. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Dang, bro, Avery, man, you breaking my channel, bro. This is a record. I did not, dude. I knew you were popular, but like, dag, bro, like,
really,
234 people. That's, I think the most I ever had was like 120, like James White or someone who came on or whatever.
We got to break that next time, man. Shoot,
no, you breaking my channel. I mean, I don't mind if you break the channel, but I mean,
next time we come on, I'll go live before our stream, and then everybody will flood.
Well, that's very nice because I know folks on your channel, they probably go for the Muslim stuff. But if you guys look at the backlog of a lot of my interviews and my teachings and stuff, you guys will find it very helpful because whether you are a presuppositionalist or not, which I hope you would be, because I think it is a powerful method, there is great benefit to thinking presuppositionally, which Avery was talking about, getting to those foundations. So if anything, you could benefit from, because we talk about that all the time on this channel. So, so highly recommend if you haven't already subscribed. But I mean, those who don't know who Avery is, if you don't know who Avery is, you need to like put this on pause and go over to his channel and subscribe because you will not be disappointed. You are my guilty pleasure, my friend. When I'm like, I'm done listening to philosophy and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, what's God Logic doing right now? And then I put it on YouTube, and there you are with your freaking hat and your freaking spatula in the middle of some city somewhere. I'm like, oh, yeah. I just grab a cookie and just enjoy it. It's like, oh man, this guy's doing his thing. That's awesome. All right, so we have a question here. What is the Al-Zut story about that I keep hearing? I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, so the Al-Zut. So there's a story in the Hadith when it comes to Muhammad where he meets a group of men, tall, dark men, and they ride him all night long. And they're called Al-Zut, the people of Al-Zut. And so they're riding him all night long, and they're probably either doing it simultaneously or taking turns, who knows. And Muhammad's homeboy was watching it from a distance and got scared and nervous, and so he sat down to cover his butt. And so, because he did not want them to come get his either. So that's the Al-Zut story, guys, in short.
Okay. Thank you for that. Every knee will bow asked the question, would you use any different tactics with a Quran-only Muslim?
Oh, with the Quran-only Muslim, they're fun. I mean, it's fun. It depends on what kind of mood you're in, really. But obviously, you can't use Hadith with a Quran-only Muslim. They reject all Hadith. They reject all outside sources. So you hold them to the Quran. And fortunately for us, like a lot of times I find out that I'm more Quran only than Quran only Muslims, because I give them Quran, Quran verses,
Irony.
and they be rejecting it, trying to reinterpret it. I'm like, wait, you Quran only, man? You just left the Quran now. You're going outside the Quran, So it's fun to hold them to their standard of Quran only. Yeah, let's be Quran only. Let's see what the Quran says.
Thank you for that. This will be the last question because I want to respect your time here. Belushi Previlone. Is that Italian? Belushi Previlone. I don't know. That's what is it? Am I pronouncing that correctly? Belushi Previlone. All right. So this person asked, what is the foundational argument for Black Hebrew Israelites? Appreciate you both.
The foundational argument?
I guess their main argument for their position, I guess what he's asking.
I mean, it's them believing that Israel is God's chosen people who are the only ones who will receive salvation and rule all the other nations in the kingdom of God and have slaves and whatnot of Gentiles. And so I would really say that it comes to them being those Israelites. They identify themselves fundamentally with being those Israelites. And so that's where it all stems from. They think they're the Israelites, and therefore how they interpret the Bible also comes with that, with that light.
All right. Excellent. I lied. One more, and that's it. I had to say this because I actually love their hashtag. I wanted to share that. So thank you for the super chat here from Avery's channel. God bless you both. Just described to your brother. Hey. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But I love that hashtag. Make heaven crowded. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah.
That's right. Thank you so much. Brother, this has been really fun. Sometimes it's not that fun. You kind of just plowing through the interview, sometimes you get questions. This has been a lot of fun, man. I really appreciate everything you do. And, I pray that you continue to be a blessing to those who are in the trenches, even as you yourself are in the trenches, and that we stay connected, man. I want to do some more stuff with you. I really want to learn from you.
Yeah. And vice versa, man. I can't wait to pick your brain on your tactics and how you do these things. And really, man, you got me excited for your debate now, man.
I hope so. It's gonna be my first ever public debate. I've only done a few debates a couple of years ago. I thought they went well. I got positive feedback, but I've never done a public one. So, when I was in Tennessee this weekend and Dr. White was debating that progressive Christian, he kind of crushed him. And then he walks over to me after the debate. He goes, "You taking notes?" I was like, "You're going to have to do that." I'm like, "Okay, Dr. White, I'm sorry. I'll make sure I pay attention." So it's my first time, but I'm excited about it. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. And
me too, though. It'll be my first in-person.
Nice
debate like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so if we suck, we suck together.
Yeah, we'll be bad together.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Well, sometimes I do, just to change the topic real quick, sometimes I do what we call these epic live streams. So the last epic live stream I had Dr. Chris Bolt, Dr. Jason Lyle, who's a PhD astrophysicist, and a bunch of other guys, like people you won't expect to see on one live stream, and we cover like a main topic. I've been thinking in the near future, maybe doing an epic Islam live stream where I'll get a bunch of people, maybe yourself, David Wood and some other people, all in one chat. We can kind of just give a full frontal, presentation of the Christian position and a refutation from different angles. I know that everyone who does what you do tends to focus on the Islamic dilemma, but maybe we can go into deeper issues and stuff like that. Folks might find that interesting. But if you're up to that, I'll totally let you know if and when that's going down.
Yeah, just let me know, man. Just let me know. Do you ever think about going out in the streets?
So here's the thing. So I do. I've engaged with Jehovah's Witnesses and things like that. One of the things I like to use is Colossians 1:16, where they insert the word other in the Greek. There are two Greek words for other, allos and heteros. One means other of a different kind and other of the same kind. And I asked them, why is that not, why did you insert that word? Paul could have used either of those words and he uses none of them. And there's always interesting reaction. However, I wake up 4 o'clock in the morning. That's when I study. My family wakes up at 5:30 and we all get ready to go to school. I work, my wife and I are teachers, and I work 45 to 50 minutes from where I live. So I'm driving, and then I work all day, and then I come back, got to help the kids with homework, got to do the dinner prep with my wife or take care of the kids while my wife's doing that.
Yeah.
And then it's dinner time, and then I do live streams like this. So I rarely have time to go out.
So
Be a challenge for me.
that's interesting. Okay. The doing this apologetics has never like threatened your job or nothing like that?
No, so I work at a classical Christian school. Everyone knows what I do, and so I pretty much teach apologetics because I teach Old Testament to 7th graders.
Yeah.
So I'll survey the Old Testament from Genesis to Malachi, but I will often make, theological and apologetic application, and then I teach a logic and debate class. So I actually teach the kids how to debate, and I incorporate apologetics into that. And so next year they might actually move the apologetics class that's in the high school down to the middle school, and then I'll be teaching apologetics if all works well. So my job intermingles well with what I do here, which is pretty awesome.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, that's dope, man.
What do you do for a living, if you don't mind? Is it you do the YouTube full time? Like, what do you?
Yeah, full-time ministry.
Okay, that's awesome, dude.
Do you find it? He's made a way where I can do this. Like, time. It's been amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome. Do you find it challenging to balance, or is it kind of, now that you're doing it full time, you feel like, hey, this is a lot of fun, I love it, and it's important work? How do you? Yeah,
it never feels like work to me. Like it's fun. So it's funny actually. Doing this full time made me have to organize it instead of I used to have random streams every day for like 5 hours. No plan, but just impromptu streams. And I'm just opening it up and debating, or teaching or whatever, right? So, but now that it's like it became real, I had to like, okay, you know what? I need to structure this. I need to have a schedule stream, video, stuff like that. So, yeah, I've learned as I've gone.
So how do you navigate that with the balance of? And I'm sorry, I was going to end it, but these are such interesting questions to me. Yeah, are you okay? Are you?
I'm good.
Okay if you're tired or whatever.
I usually stream for 3 hours. This is
bro. You got that, dude. His streams are as long as his church services.
Yes, literally, bro.
That's awesome. See, I grew up in a Pentecostal church, so I don't mind. I mean, Jesus would leave before the service was over. Even Jesus would be like, "I'll see you next week," because it was really long. So
the people stay, man. There be 3,000 people in there, still there, man.
That's right. The Pentecostals have endurance, bro. But anyway, the question I was asking: how do you navigate the balance between ministry and family?
Yeah, so I recently got married. We've been married for 6 months, and so
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. What has helped is that she loves this. Like she's super into it, just like I am. So she's always in the comment section. She's what you might call a troll sometimes.
That's awesome.
She be trolling, man. She be trolling the Muslims, man. So that helps. That this is like, it's kind of our thing, we like this. However, there has to be a balance. So the scheduling does help. Having a schedule where I stream, it helps. We definitely had to because I also do TikTok also. Like on my off days, I'll be like on TikTok live, for hours. But I had to, learn to kind of minimize that and make sure I'm not on there too long where I'm not, involved with her and checking in on her and just making sure I'm just there, present and involved. So
you don't have kids.
I don't have kids yet. Yeah, no.
I'm telling you, bro. Apologetics gets hard, bro. Dude, I did a live stream one, and one of my sons walked in. I was like, "Oh man, come on,
man!" I'm telling you right now, my kids is gonna be right here on my lap.
They make me look bad.
We're gonna be right here. Ain't nothing changing when the kid comes.
Little Timmy, go into the other room. We need to look for the Injil somewhere.
Yeah, go look for the Injil, little dude.
That is actually hilarious.
Yeah. But no, yeah. So we've had to have discussions, about balance and what works for us as a unit together.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
It's been getting better and better. Like we're kind of in a golden era right now.
Yeah.
So it's been going good right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, I just saw Radar Apologetics is in the chat. I love Radar, man. I had him on the show a while ago. Thank you so much for your super chat.
Radar is my rabbi, man.
Yeah, he's got, but bro, Rabboni, bro. That's my Rabboni.
That's my rabbi.
He knows his stuff. And he's got that calm demeanor too. When you were talking about Jeff Durbin, I actually did notice that about his interactions. He's so chill. And then he'll just be like, listen, that's, Joseph says, blah, 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 blah. And
Yes.
the Book of Mormon. I'm just like, dang, yo, he is.
And he's surgical with it.
Yes.
That's what, if I had to think of one word to describe Radar Apologetics, Rabbi Eduardo, it's surgeon.
Yes.
He's surgical.
And that makes sense because he's Jewish,
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It go right with
a
it.
doctor
Right
or a lawyer or something.
Man. But he's so tactical and
yeah.
and smart and just surgical with his arguments. Like his debate he had on my channel, in the cross-examination, it was the most impressive. It was impressive to me in regards to tactic and how the question set up the next question and set up the next question to ultimately, by the 10th question, we all see the problem. Like we all see it. And he's
playing chess while his opponents are playing Candyland. It's a different kind of game.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's very true. Yeah, that's so right. Well, brother, let me wrap things up here. Would you like to say anything to the audience before we close off? Maybe my audience. I know a lot of people from your channel here. What would you like to share with my audience who maybe have never heard of you up until now?
Yeah. So, guys, Islam is false unequivocally. It's very clear. I would say everybody should get a Quran. I think everybody should get a Quran, and everybody, if you're a Christian, if you don't get the Quran, at least learn the Islamic dilemma. You will be able to have any conversation with any Muslim at work, wherever you're at in the market. You'll be able to witness to a Muslim if you have the Islamic dilemma down. The fact that the Quran confirms the Bible, says the Bible is true, yet contradicts it at the same time. Yeah. So for a Muslim, even though they reject the Bible, it's still their foundation. They have no choice, or else Islam is false. So learn the Islamic dilemma. If you don't take anything else away from this, learn that argument, learn the rebuttals to it, learn how to navigate that conversation and that argument, and go off and fly. That's
awesome. Well, thank you so much, brother. Guys, if you have not subscribed to God Logic, please do so. It will definitely bless you. There's some great content there. And what I love about it is a lot of your videos, there are a lot of clips that are like 20 minutes, 25 minutes long. So if you're not that long form kind of guy, like that's perfect. That's like a perfect, like I'm driving to work and I can listen to you defeat 2 or 3 Muslims before I even get to my job.
Yeah.
So it's really awesome. So, all right, guys. Well, if you haven't subscribed to Revealed Apologetics, please do so and click that notification bell when new interviews are coming up and new teaching. I've got a couple of things in store for future videos. And so I'm looking forward to getting to that when I catch a moment. And I'll keep people up to date and to my speaking engagements and my traveling schedule and things like that. So that is it for this live stream, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you for sticking with us for 1 hour and 37 minutes. Really appreciate it. Until next time, take care. God bless. Bye-bye.